Kayla Vernava on Radio Row, joined by UFC President Dana White. Dana, thank you for joining us
Thank
in
you for
this
having me.
very exciting time. Our New England Patriots are in the Super Bowl.
Was there ever a doubt that we were going to be in the Super Bowl? Of course we're in the Super Bowl again. You know, the greatest team in the history of the NFL, with the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, with the greatest coach and the greatest owner in the history of the NFL. There's no doubt we were going to be here again.
How would you like to see Roger Goodell hand Tom Brady a Lombardi
Oh, it's
trophy?
going to be a beautiful... Tom Brady, he's got to go up and give it to Kraft. Then he's got to give it to Brady. It's awesome. I can't wait for that moment, you know. Listen, being a guy in Goodell's spot too, I can't attack Goodell too much, but it did the whole Deflategate thing was ridiculous, and it was good to see Tom come and just shove it right up everybody's, you know. I like it.
Well, this is a very exciting weekend. How describe the atmosphere, your excitement to have a UFC fight night the same weekend, the night before, in the same city as the Super Bowl?
It's awesome. So, you know, I love Radio Row. I do this every year. It's so much fun. I have a great time, and I get to bump into a bunch of people from Boston. And then tonight, the Rockets play the Bulls here in town. Tomorrow night is UFC, and we've got the Korean Zombie, who's a huge fan favorite, against Dennis Bermudez, who's a stud, live and free on Fox Sports 1, by the way. And then Saturday's the Super Bowl. I mean, it's such a killer.
Sunday's the Super Bowl.
And what did I say? Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know when the Super Bowl is.
He's just testing it.
And I own a bull. I actually own a bull, and he's here in Houston.
Wait, a bull?
A bull, yeah.
A live animal
like
bull?
riding, you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so I own one of the bulls, and he's actually riding tomorrow. So I'm going to see him tomorrow, too. It couldn't be a better weekend here for me.
Which fighter could take on the bull in the octagon?
No, I don't know. I don't know if any fighters would want to mess with the bull, man. Bulls are too tough.
So loaded card for this Saturday in Houston will be very exciting. Next Saturday, you're going to have the inaugural UFC Women's Featherweight Championship. How excited are you for that?
Look at you. You know your stuff. I like it. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. Obviously, you know, we built that division for Chris Cyborg, and she's having some issues right now, so we'll see how that whole thing plays out. But, yeah, Jermaine and Holly is a very good fight. Two of the best strikers ever in UFC history.
And since we're here in Houston, I need to ask you about the second season of your shows coming up. What are we going to see? Here in Houston, you discovered Mickey Gall and Sage Northcutt, so
Yep.
Can we expect more excitement like that?
Yeah. Listen, let's keep it Boston. You know, I'm looking forward. I want to come to Boston and do a Looking for a Fight show. You know, they have a lot of great local promotions down there in New England. I just did one up in Maine at my house in Maine for the first episode of this season. So yeah, I'm looking to come to Boston and do some fun stuff there.
I need to ask you about McGregor Mayweather. What's the possibilities of us really seeing that? I know you've made them an offer.
Yeah.
Is that likely?
It's about as likely as me being Brady's backup quarterback on Sunday, I would have to say. But never say never. I mean, who knows what could happen. But if you look at Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, look how long it took them to fight, and they're in the same sport. So who knows? At the end of the day, McGregor has a bunch of fights lined up here in the UFC where he's going to make millions and millions of dollars. Floyd does not. He thinks he's the A side. He's wrong. He's the B side.
All right. Well, McGregor, of course, huge face of the UFC. What was your reaction to his comments when UFC Fight Night Denver was going on, and he said more people were watching him speak?
Yeah. You know, listen, he was about to go on and do a pay-per-view where you had to pay to see him talk. So he's a great talker. You know, I don't know how many people want to pay to see him talk. I think people want to pay to see him fight. But I can promise you this, UFC Denver did just fine, and there were way more people there than they were at Conor's thing. But that's Conor. Conor is Conor, and Conor's going to talk. But that's what makes him who he is. You know, I don't love all the things he says all the time. I don't agree with all the things he says all the time, but, you know, we'll see what happens.
Another big face of the UFC, of course, Ronda Rousey. You think she's going to be retiring soon, possibly?
Yeah, you never know. But all my conversations with her seem like she's ready to ride off into the sunset and do her whatever's next. You know what I mean? So, not saying that she couldn't come back and say, hey, I want one more fight, but I don't think so.
What is leading you to believe that? Is there a certain conversation you have with her?
Just that she's never said to me, I'm done, I'm retiring, I don't think. But the way that she's talking about what she wants to do in the future just makes me think that fighting isn't part of it.
All right, well, before we let you go, do you have a message for any Patriots fans or the team you want to say?
I mean, what's the message? We got the greatest football team ever with the greatest coach, the greatest owner. You know, what I want on Sunday, obviously I want to win, but I don't want it to be a good game. I want it to be a blowout because I don't want to sweat this game at all. And I'm tired of the haters, and let's just put this all to rest with this Super Bowl win.
All right. Well said. UFC President Dana White, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.